Howdy, soldiers. It's a mid-year book freakout tag. Welcome to the party. It has been 6 months of 2023, and so today's video we're gonna spill some bookish tea and do a good old-fashioned book tag for our mid-year freakout. I personally have read 46 books this year. Usually my Goodreads goal is around 80 to 100, so I think I'm 5 books ahead of schedule right now, like not to brag or anything. But usually when book bloggers do our year-end wrap-ups, we have to leave out a lot of stuff that we loved because there's only so much time, but also because it's easier to remember stuff about the books that we have more recently read. A lot of books from the beginning of the year get left out of our big year-long wrap-ups. We're like the opposite of the Spotify Wrapped bias. So the mid-year book freakout tag is meant as a way to split that up a little bit, kind of take the pressure off, and just get to talk about some books from the beginning of the year. Join me today in my very caffeinated state while we go over 14 books that I had thoughts, I had feelings, and I had concerns about in today's mid-year book wrap-up freakout. Book freakout mid-year book freakout tag. Oh no, okay. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and buckle in. Oh my god, I just remembered I didn't put earrings on. And that's not gonna be a problem with the sponsor of today's video. That's called a segue. This video is kindly sponsored by Louisa Jewellery. I've worked with them plenty of times before. Louisa is a jewelry company that specializes in tarnish-free and humidity-resistant jewelry that is 100% carbon neutral. They specialize in affordable, sustainable, elevated basics, and I think someone told them that I like earrings, so they have sent me a couple of pairs to show off today. I got their package last week, and I've already worn this pair 3 times, and that is the Paris Twisted Silver Hoops. For some reason, also don't own a pair of hoops, and now I do. I love how simple and yet bold this pair is. They are rhodium dipped titanium, so they are strong, but they are not heavy. The texture is what really drew me to them, because even though they're small and elegant and simple, that big twist and like the chunkier silver just gives me an attitude, and I love it. This second pair already has a good memory attached to it because I'm wearing the Ash double hoop silver rings when I did my burlesque debut a couple weeks ago. They're a little industrial and like a little grunge, but at the same time, if I was wearing this with a business suit, like people could not tell me shit. These were designed by influencer Ashley Choi, and technically you can take the second hoop off, so they could just be a very simple pair of squared hoop earrings, or you can have the double if you want a little more texture and or excitement in your life. These are also fun because they make sound. It's something about that makes my brain very happy. And as some of you can be able to tell, a motif that I really like in my jewelry is celestial things, particularly stars and moons, and Louisa has you covered. Because this third pair is the jeweled mismatched silver Celeste moon and star earrings. Full of cubic zirconia gemstones, the Celeste earrings are inspired by Van Gogh's Starry Night. The star and moon charms are hardy, they are cubic zirconia and dipped in rhodium, as well as put on the mini hoops that Louisa has, and I like their mini hoops a lot. I have another pair of pearls and I haven't had any issues with the clasps or anything, despite them being so small. And the last thing they sent me is something I've wanted for so long, and I'm so glad that I finally have one, and that is the Petra snake ring. Look at him! Isn't he adorable? This is a gold-dipped ring with green nano gems for eyes. It is tarnish-resistant, water-resistant, and hypoallergenic, and I also want to give a quick shout-out to the copywriter of Louisa's site, because for the Petra ring, it's described as shaped like a slithering serpent. I don't know who you are, but you get me. If you want to check out any of the pieces I mentioned or more from Louisa's site, I will leave the link down below, and you can get 20% off if you use that link or my code, which is also down below. That's not an affiliate code, I don't get any money from it, but I can save you money, and that's what I'm here for. Thank you again to Louisa for sponsoring this video, and without further ado, let's get into the books. Number 1 is the best book that you have read in 2023, and to no one's surprise, it's A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. I got to meet Samantha Shannon when she was in Vancouver for the launch party for this book. She was so cool, and I love hearing her talk about her world and her process. I literally got a tattoo of this book. I loved it so much. And yes, an updated tattoo tour video will be coming soon. I don't know when, maybe end of July. This is a standalone prequel to the infamously sapphic dragon-filled epic fantasy Priory of the Orange Tree that takes place 500 years before the events of Priory during the grief of ages and the first time that evil arose to take over the land. And in it we meet 3 women who are somewhat related to the people of Priory, so it was really cool seeing how she set up the world of Priory and like how we got to that point in history. We follow a priestess at the height of the priory when some of the new recruits are questioning their purpose. We follow a girl raised in the mountains whose mother's fate catches up with her and she ends up having to lead the dragon war. And we meet a legendary queen when she herself is a child and forced into queendom too early. Full of family and friendship and the bonds of loyalty and the bonds and tribulations of motherhood. Even if you didn't love Priory, I would still highly recommend this book because you can really tell that she's like honed her craft. Like everything in this was so intricate and detailed and really just like hits you right in the chest. I'm literally getting sweaty, yelling about it, and also holding this because this is like the weight of a small child. Number 2 is appropriately the best sequel that you've read this year. And for me, that is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. Ooh, editing. There was a bit of controversy around Ninth House just before Hellbent came out. However, knowing that criticism before going into Hellbent and with that in mind, I did not find any of the same issues in this book at all. In Ninth House, we have a dark academia magical murder mystery headed by Alex Stern that only gets grosser and more unhinged in Hellbent, where our morally gray magical group of students has to go to hell and find a soul, along with having to solve some more murders of why professors keep disappearing. The writing in this is top notch. It is atmospheric as fuck. It has a library with books with real human vertebrae for spines. It has summoning hordes of demon horses. We go to hell 3 times, which I feel at this point might be a little much. Like, hell is starting to feel less of like an arcane mystery that you have to do multiple rituals and blood sacrifices for, and more like something that you would pop down to, like a 7-Eleven. But like, hey, I'm not an expert on how the afterworld works. There were some things that were a little weird. Glow stick. And if you know, you know. That being said, this did up my standard for dating because it's always you up and never I will serve you till the end of days. Like Darlington. Hit me up. Number 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet, but want to, and I very much so want to read The First Bright Thing by J.R. Dawson. Oh, did you just see that talent? I didn't have to look. I've heard so many comp titles swirling around this in this cloud of magic and mystery that it's like Addie LaRue, The Night Circus, Thistlefoot, you have my attention. And this follows the magical circus of fantasticals in the 1930s, where our ringmaster Rin has collected all of these other magical people as a safe haven in the circus, and every night Rin and her sparks enchant the Big Top to show audiences a piece of the impossible. Big Top, I sure hope she does. But with her past catching up with her and a new war looming, there is suddenly another circus in town with black tents and dark magic. Plus it's queer, and who doesn't love a magical found family? I'm like vibrating right now. Can you see how excited I am for this? Being an ex-theater kid, there is a type of magic that comes from being in a theater and being a part of a performance, and I just can't wait to see how J.R. Dawson is going to enchant me with this new book. Number 4 is your most anticipated book for the last half of the year, and I couldn't pick, so I'm gonna show you guys 2. This is my video, I can do whatever I want. I'm an adult. And I'm also lucky enough to currently have both of them because I work for a book distribution company, and you can bet that I am in the back room every time I go into the office being like, hey, can I have this? As my boss can tell you, I have no shame. So I'm still in a kerfuffle over the fact that I am holding one of my most anticipated books of this year that comes out in September, and that is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. The Fragile Threads of Power is the first in a new trilogy from V.E. Schwab that is a continuation companion series of the Darker Shade of Magic series, which also, as most of you know, I have a tattoo from and absolutely love. And this follows King Rai of Red London in the middle of a political rebellion, a new Antari queen of White London who is stirring up a very vicious religious fervor, and a girl with unusual magic named Tess who comes into possession of a device that could change the Londons forever. To me, companion series are tricky because you have to somehow still capture the magic, no pun intended, of the first series, but you have to keep building on a plot that's kind of already been closed, so I'm interested to see what she does. But I do have a feeling this will become my personality in the upcoming months. You've been warned. And also, maybe hot take, but I really like the new covers. I know people hate them. They think they're ugly. I think they're really cool looking. I'm not gonna say that I like them better than the old ones, but I still think they're really cool. And the other one is one that I swear was written just for me, and that is H.E. Hedgeman's Godly Heathens, which comes out this November. And this is about a non-binary teen named Jem who finds out that they are a reincarnation of a god from another world. what? And it turns out that the god they were was not always benevolent, and so they are being hunted down by other gods of their pantheon, particularly the goddess of death. I mean, that might give you, like, a lot of issues and a god complex. Like, Jam, do you need a wellness check or something? And this cover is gorgeous and somehow gives me gender envy. I just need to go find a snake and, like, get a lip piercing and then go lie in a tree somewhere. Well, I don't have any other plans today, so maybe I'll go do that after this. Number 5 is your biggest disappointment, and unfortunately, I have to say that it was The Fiancé Farce by Alexandria Balfour. It was, how the kids say, bad. This was allegedly supposed to be a cute, sapphic, fake dating story where our main character Tansy makes up a girlfriend based on the cover model of a romance novel she's reading, and then later when she's at a family wedding, that model actually walks into the room and now the jig is up. Is it jig or gig? This is like the word GIF all over again. And yes, it's GIF. If you think otherwise, I'm sorry, you're wrong. So they enter into a fake engagement because both of them need a partner to do what the other one wants, etc., etc. And then, oh hey, we fall in love along the way. And like, that sounded perfect, but this book was just, it was not ready to be published. I don't say this very often because cringe is dead. Like, we're all a little cringy, right? We're all a little weird. But the dialogue in this book was cringe. And the, like, do revenge plotline could have been fun, but yet again, missed opportunity, so underdeveloped. And my other thing that really confused me is that Tansy, the dark-haired girl, is supposed to be plus size. Like, she's mentioned in the book as being curvy, and then I see this cover and I'm like, interesting. This was like cutting into an avocado, expecting it to be ripe, but then it's like you waited just a day too long and the inside is brown. It's kind of what this was. And nobody wants to be an overripe avocado. That is ridiculous and embarrassing. Number 6 is your biggest surprise of the year, and I had quite the spicy sapphic surprise. Just last month, I really enjoyed An Island Princess Starts a Scandal by Adriana Herrera. I actually did a video with Harlequin to promote this book, and I'm so happy that I got to do that video because that opened my eyes to this whole new niche of queer Harlequin romance novels, and I'm living. Our main character Manuela has come to Paris for one summer of fun before she is put into an arranged marriage to save her family's reputation, and while she's there, she meets Cora, Duchess of Sundridge, and the two of them strike a deal that Manuela will sell Cora some of her family's land so that Cora can get ahead in her business, and in return, she will show Manuela all of the sapphic delights of Paris that she will be missing out on when she goes back to Venezuela. This book is hot as hell, yet also had some of the most romantic lines I have ever read. Like, wow, people really do contain multitudes. Also, unexpectedly, a fantastic deep dive into the lives of people from South America finding refuge in France and in Paris in the 1800s, along with the queer artists movement and artist unions, and the complicated political climate of women, particularly women of color, rising in the ranks of society and also the ranks of business. The plot was great. The characters were so vibrant. The sexy times were very sexy. Now, as a socially anxious ex-gifted child, I don't like being wrong very often, but when I'm being righted by such a bad bitch, I don't mind at all. Number 7 is to talk about your new favorite author, and oh boy, I have been influenced. You see, my friend Elle on TikTok would not shut up about Godkiller by Hannah Canner, and I'm so glad that they didn't. Ooh, I love a fucked up deer. This centers a Godkiller assassin who finds a god that she cannot kill, and she, along with some companions, have to travel to the final city of gods in hopes to beg a favor. Incredible world. I love seeing how the gods are interacted with on a variety of bases, and like how the wars have impacted how they get worshipped. Our main character, Kissin, is hilarious and also has a disability, so happy Disability Pride Month, everybody! She's an amputee and has chronic pain, and then another one of our characters suffers from PTSD and tremors. The high fantasy, dark forest, god magic book is something that I can vibe with, and if I can vibe with your book, I can vibe with you. Hannah Canner, please take this video as my official request to become best friends. Number 8 is to talk about your latest fictional crush, and I have a feeling I am not alone in this decision. It's Xaden from Fourth Wing. I can't help it, okay? Not my fault that I love to see a tall, darkly handsome man with nice shoulders who may or may not have a dragon. The last part is not necessarily a deal breaker, but it is an advantageous extra. I know some people have big opinions on this book, and I personally really liked it. I thought the world was really cool, love a war college. I thought Violet was super resourceful, and then also Xaden, he caught me by surprise. When we first meet Xaden, I was like, oh boy, here goes another asshole, broody man who we're gonna end up falling in love with. But he wasn't like that at all, actually. Yeah, sure, he holds a grudge, but honestly, who wouldn't in his situation? He is strong and loyal and is trying to do what's best for him and his friends and his family and his, like, disgraced part of the country. He never talks down to Violet. He never makes her feel like she is less worthy because of her disability. He actively tries to find ways to help her and accommodate her with her disability. Like, sure, he's a dramatic ass bitch, but like, as an ex-theater kid, I can't help it. I love that. This also just got announced as part of a 5-book series, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, so I'm interested to see how Xaden and Violet progress, how they evolve. Oh, did I ever introduce who this is? This is Chive. My friend got him for me, and he's just sitting back here as moral support. Number 9 is your newest favorite fictional character, and I am pulling out my wild card because I am talking about something truly awful. I'm talking about June from R.F. Kuang's Yellowface. Yellowface is R.F. Kuang's literary debut that centers a white female author who takes the work of an Asian woman and passes it off as her own, and then the lengths that she will do to keep that under her own name and the social media and industry fallout as she tries to complicate her own victimhood. This is a twisty, raw look into the discrimination within the publishing industry, talks about tokenism, cultural appropriation, and cancel culture, and you are not meant to like her. A lot of people's complaints about this book were like, I couldn't connect with the main character, and it's like, yeah, bitch, I fucking hope you don't. June Hayward is an awful person. Watching the way that she justifies pretty much every criticism that is thrown at her is so interesting, and like, you can see it. Like, you want to connect with her, you want to sympathize. So I don't necessarily love her, but I do love the way that R.F. Kuang wrote her as this kind of morally gray, slightly sympathetic, but also just absolutely horrible trash person. She's unlike any character I've ever read before, and I've been thinking about her a lot since finishing this book. Number 10 is a book that made you cry, and I don't have a physical copy of the book that made me cry the most, but god damn it, I wish that I could. Back in January, I was hearing nonstop about this series of short stories on Amazon Prime that were all written by different authors, and the one that a lot of my friends were talking about was 6 Deaths of the Saint by Alex E. Harrow. Now, to be honest, when I first saw these, I was like, I don't read short stories. I'm just gonna skip this one, right? Like, I am too old to be bullied on the internet into reading something that I know I'm not gonna love. Like it always does, I was influenced by all these people talking about how great it was and how it was the most amazing thing ever and how they made them cry and made them feel hope again and how, like, I'm not going to be able to get into heaven if I don't read it. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll pick this up. And y'all, I'm so happy. Oh, peer pressure does work sometimes. This is a 30-page short story that focuses on a girl meeting the Saint of Death 6 times in her life. And I can't tell you anything else about it, but just know that this made me sob. I was crying because I was heartbroken, but I was also crying because I was hopeful. This is a beautiful story about youth and magic and legacy. And this also goes to show you do not need a 300-page book to tell a story. Alex E. Harrow managed to jam like 2 novels worth of emotional damage into 30 damn pages, and I felt every one of them. This book makes you want to pick up a sword, but it also makes me want to go roll in a ball and cry, knowing that I will never be able to write something this beautiful. Oh, I don't have a book to turn around for this one. I'm gonna get one. There, my Alex E. Harrow representation. Opposite to that, number 11 is a book that made you happy, and I read a book last month that made me very happy. This was one of the sweetest, most adorable books that I've read in a long time, and I don't mean to blind you with this cover, but that was Spellbound by F.T. Lukens. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. And this is a YA urban fantasy. It's about Sun and Rook, who are 2 rival sorcerer apprentices who have to overcome their differences and work together when both of their mentors mysteriously go missing. And it turns out Rook's existence as an apprentice goes against everything that the Magical Consortium stands for. Oh my god, the Magical Consortium is the wizard cops. Oh, I miss Star Kid. This is a real underdog story about Rook not being explicitly magical, but being able to look in on magical society and like him feeling on the outskirts and like he doesn't belong there, but then we learned that he does belong there, and it's so wonderful. They are the Grumpy Sunshine duo to end all Grumpy Sunshine duos. I love their banter. They're so funny and cute together. Plus, this world is just fun because we have magic competing with technology and like the trials and tribulations of exploding coffee pots and cursed doormats. It all culminates in this light urban fantasy that I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed every page of this book, and I would highly recommend picking this up. Number 12 is gonna be very short because it is your favorite book to movie adaptation that you watched this year, and I only watched one, so ergo, by default, it has to be that one. It wasn't even my favorite, but regardless, I did end up watching season 2 of the Shadow and Bone TV show, and you know what? I liked it. I'll leave my review video where I yelled about it for like 30 whole minutes. It basically boils down to, it was rushed, the ending was weird, but also Nicolina forever, and I will literally watch any spin-off with Six of Crows ever until the day I die. Number 13 is, what is your favorite review that you've left this year? And I guess actually I'll link a playlist because I've done a whole lot of reviews. I've done a review on 46 books this year. And while honestly, I do think I have a good couple one-liners in some of these videos, the book that I feel like I reviewed the most and like had the most enthusiasm for is one I don't even have physically. Really, the only review I've left of this book is me just yelling at Sierra Simone to woman up and write a freaking book series, but The Fae Queen's Captive by Sierra Simone slaps ass, and I want her to turn this into, like, the new ACOTAR. The Fae Queen's Captive is a short story by Sierra Simone that is a part of the Peculiar Taste series, where our main character is an archaeology student studying in Scotland who accidentally, on Samhain, gets herself kidnapped into the fairy realm and then ends up being in the middle of this political rebellion and has to try and find a way to get herself back, but also the Fae Queen's kinda sexy. Y'all know I love bones and antlers, and this is the Court of Antlers, where there's literally like an antler throne, and the queen has like antlers woven into her crown. It's this beautiful ivy-wrapped castle with like magical plants and mycelium all over the floor, and like bioluminescent things lighting the way. And what makes us human is the salt in our blood, so the main character has to keep eating salt to be able to like not be glamored by people. And we're in the middle of a political rebellion because the last queen just died, and her son and daughter were fighting over the throne, and the daughter got the throne, and the son's angry about it. And also, they are the Night Glass twins who have like parts of their body that are see-through, so you can like see into their organs. I need a moment to collect myself. You see how excited I get over this? And I'm so mad that this was like a smutty throwaway novel. I really, really want Sierra Simone to turn this into something. Like Katie Robert, who also has a short story in that story collection, like she's written a bunch of series based on her short stories. So I'm like, Sierra, please, I'm begging you. I don't know what kind of fairy deal I will have to strike to get you to write more of this series, but like, I'm willing to do it. Please, I want this so bad. Okay. The last book that we're going to talk about is number 14. And number 14 is to talk about the most beautiful book that you have bought this year. And I'm basing this both on aesthetics and interiors. One of the most gorgeous books I've read this year is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. If you've been looking for a book of sweeping romance amongst a war-torn society that deals with gods and journalism and the truth and hope and love, here you go. This asks the question, what if we fought World War I against gods instead? And follows two young journalists with a magical connection through their typewriters as they both go to the front lines and learn more about the war and try to find people that have gone missing, as well as fall in love against a backdrop of grief and hope. If you didn't like this book, I need you to get out of my house immediately. Sweeping prose, gritty world building, an amazing look into the mental toll that war takes, and encompasses a connection that like made me believe in love again. I'm sorry to my girlfriend that I can never be this romantic, but we have both agreed that book characters are our first loves. This book asks, hey, do you want to feel some feelings? Here are all of them. This is an absolute stunning book that I will 1000% be buying the sequel to, and 1001% guaranteed to cry at. And that is that on that. Oh my god, y'all. We did all that without a single paper cut and without melting into my couch. There is my 2023 mid-year book freakout tag. I hope all of you had fun, because I sure did. I'll link the questions in the description box. And as always, please feel free to add your books to the comment section below. And once again, thank you to Louisa Jewellery for sponsoring this video and for sending me such lovely pieces. And may I remind you that my code and link are in the description box below if you want to check out their site and or get yourself some new beautiful elevated basic jewelry. I'm actually quite surprised how good my jewelry is holding up, considering that there is sunscreen on it at all times, but that hasn't dulled the shine at all. I'm gonna go out tonight, so I'm gonna keep these on. What have we learned so far this year? Well, number one, I'm still on my dark fantasy kick and always will be. It's good to try stuff outside of your comfort zone once in a while, and sometimes peer pressuring can get you results. My drink is out of ice and I am very shiny, so we're gonna wrap this up real quick so I can turn my AC back on. You know where to click to like the video, you know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!